One of the basic starch staples that I always make sure we have in the fridge are steamed potatoes. All different types, red potatoes, yellow potatoes, russet potatoes, Idaho potatoes. And I just want to show you how we prepare those. We just eat them as snacks. Sometimes we reheat them with meals, or sometimes we slice them up and turn them into potato fries. The only thing we need is water, potatoes, and a steamer basket. I like this one. It fits in the Instapot well. Um, and I like that it allows me to fill the Instapot pretty full, but you could use any steamer basket that you prefer. So the first thing we need to do is just fill the Instapot once I put the steamer basket in here with about a cup of water. I do not measure, so I just like that. I usually use hot water just so it comes to pressure a little bit faster. And then I'm gonna head downstairs with this pot and fill it up with my potatoes from downstairs. I'll show you how I store those. So this is part of our food storage downstairs. This is just our laundry room, but it tends to be the coolest place. We have lots and lots of canned beans. We have bananas that are ripening. We have some vinegars and condiments, but this is how I store my potatoes. So they're in cloth kind of cardboard boxes that I just got from Amazon, super cheap. And I cover them with a towel because I find for some reason they just turn green so easily if exposed to any light. So we have all different varieties. Let's see what we have. Here we have some yellow potatoes and some russets, and here we have some reds. So I'm just going to take, I usually put the biggest ones on the bottom, and I'm just going to fill up the pot, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're back in the kitchen, and I just wanted to show you. I usually put the soft skin yellow ones on top because otherwise they tend to get mushy. I find you kind of figure stuff out like that in time, I think it also depends on like the elevation we're at and stuff. So I also cook my stuff for a long time in the Instapot compared to some people. Generally, try not to fill it past that max line. This is probably still okay, but otherwise it doesn't seal properly sometimes, and then things go awry. No explosions or anything. Just the water will evaporate away. I might even take this guy out. And I tend to put these down because for some reason, some of them, sometimes they come up a little bit and they also mess with the seal, and then the water just evaporates and it's disappointing. So I'll probably take that one out just for safety. And that's just a mix of Idaho and red and yellow because I like having a mix in the fridge. And again, I put the insert in, super, super simple. Put the lid on, turn all the way to the right, and if you forget that, it tells you that right here. And then you just turn this thing to sealing. You don't want on venting, on sealing so it can build to pressure. And I tend to do my potatoes for 15 minutes. You'll learn that I do my stuff for a pretty long time in the Instapot compared to what I see online a lot. It's just what works for us. It's what it takes to cook them the way I'm nice and soft. But some people find like 4 minutes does it for them. But I don't know. This is how we do it. So pressure cook I hit, and then I just hit the plus and minus here until I get to 15. And I could set this ahead, but I actually want it to, I could delay start it, but I actually want it to cook right now. So I'll show you this when it's all done. So the potatoes are now done, and I can tell that because there's the L. That means it is finished cooking and it is now counting up. Usually for potatoes, something like that with very minimal water on the bottom, it might take about 20 minutes or so to naturally pressure release. I tend to not force the pressure release, but you can do that after a few minutes of cooling it. Usually they say 10 minutes and then release it. You need to make sure your hand stays on this side or the steam will shoot up, and you just turn this to venting instead, which actually mine was fully released, but I just had to put the lid on again and that did it. So see how that clicked down? I know to listen for that sound already. So I know that my stuff is pressure released and I can go scoop it out if needed when I hear that sound. I do not tend to use that function very often where I release the steam on purpose because, number one, I don't think it's great for our cupboards. Number two, it tends to blow the food to smithereens when it does that, I find. So I don't like my potatoes as much when they've been forced pressure release. I just allot enough time for it to naturally release. So this, as an example, This took maybe, let's say at most 10 minutes to come to pressure, 15 minutes to cook, and then probably another 20 or so to release. It was released actually a couple minutes ago, except that I put the lid back on. So that's about the time frame I'm looking at. And I'm just gonna unlock this lid and show you they're really nicely cooked. They're cracking a little bit, some of them. So they've just, smells great, very nicely cooked. I'll cool it here a little bit. I'll turn this off. And then I'll just lift the insert out, cool it on my cutting board for a while. When they're cool enough, I'll transfer it to here, let them fully cool, and then I stick them in my fridge. And we just always have these on hand for adding to meals or as quick snacks. I hope this has been helpful for you. Just simple Instapot steamed potatoes. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment below about ways you like to keep it simple.